Hi, my name is Cameron, and I'm just going to be talking about my term paper and explaining everything that I learned and connecting it all to environmental health. Okay. So, my topic was climate change and how that affects the environmental and human health and all that. So, the first point I got into was temperature rise and how that affects environmental health. I know in an article, it was by Monica Rodriguez, I believe her name is, um, a professor at UC Berkeley, where she did a study where projecting the temperature and related mortalities in the increasing years, and the study shows a consistent temperature rising and an increased mortality rates because of that. As well, one fact is that with the temperatures increasing, certain groups are more susceptible to being impacted by it. For example, in the Long Beach metropolitan area, African Americans are a lot more likely to not have access to air conditioning, which will cause a threat and or cause problems with basically handling these heat waves and increasing temperature because of climate change, which really affects their health. And because they're more susceptible to the heat wave, that can also make them more susceptible to viruses such as the Zika virus, West Nile virus, and malaria, as we've talked about those all in class and the impacts they have. And then as temperatures continue to rise, the geographic range of these diseases is likely to expand, also increasing the risk of infection to everyone and not just the poor or the elderly, for example. Another, my second point is water, excuse me, and how certain groups don't have access to clean water. I know in one article that I cited, in many mountain regions, global warming has a stronger effect than in lowlands, which makes it harder for them to get access to clean water. And as a result of not getting access to this clean water, a lot of times they just don't. A lot of times the water they drink just isn't clean, where they're more susceptible to waterborne illnesses, as we talked about in class as well, such as cholera, T. pylori, and E. coli diseases, which I remember in my paper, in total they cause over 4 million deaths per year. So that's something that should be addressed and all that, and is a big problem when it comes to climate change and environmental health. So my next point that I talked about in my paper was access to food and food security, which also kind of connects to water in a sort, where with less precipitation rates and all that, farmers might not be able to grow certain crops, which cause problems for human health and environmental susceptibility, as well as the accessibility and the prices of food, which might increase because crops aren't getting grown and all that is being slowed down. My fourth point, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at this real quick. That climate change leads to more frequent and severe weather events, and would cause increased mitigation of certain populations. For example, 2017 Hurricane Harvey in Houston, so many people's homes got destroyed, where they had to migrate to certain areas, starting over, like not having anything, no foods, no water, that had a real impact to their health. As well, 2018 California wildfires right next to me, my hometown. People had to flee that area, might begin smoke in their lungs, which could cause them to get certain diseases as well, and viruses such as cancer, which, yeah, we need to address. And then this could all lead to not just environmental health, but especially with mitigation, can lead to other range of challenges such as socioeconomic hardship, dislocation, and then political instability as well.